friends. So this week I am, if you can see this little pink yumminess over here, I'm doing some pesto salmon. But I'm not just doing, you know, regular old throw it on a sheet pan and bake it. I am doing it in, well, the French call it en papillote. I think I'm not even probably pronouncing that correctly. Sorry, I didn't stay up with that high school French. But anyways, it's basically salmon that's wrapped like in a little paper pocket, so to speak. Parchment paper. However, if you're like, parchment paper, this is so highbrow, I'm out. Don't leave. You can also do it in foil. The reason why people will choose, this is parchment paper, versus foil, is that foil sometimes will react and just discolor things like lemon, tomato, acidic type things. White wine, if you throw a little bit of that in there. So parchment, you can fold a little paper pocket with this. Some people also prefer to do foil because the foil is a lot easier to fold. So I'm actually gonna do a hybrid because I have some tomatoes in this dish. So got my foil going down and my parchment. So what I will be doing is laying some foil in this thing, topping it with some pesto that I just pulled out of my freezer because if you've watched me for a while, you can go back and watch my homemade pesto. I make it for myself simply because my husband can't have nuts and most pestos have pine nuts in it. So my little packet of my homemade pesto. A little bit of that's gonna go on there, and then I'll throw in some fresh green beans and some tomatoes, and I'm gonna wrap it all up, throw it in the oven, and 15 minutes later, deliciousness will be at my front door. I'm so excited. So let's get started. All right, so now you get the little bird's eye view. I'm just do a little drizzle of olive oil right in the center, not a lot, and I'm gonna set my salmon fillet just down in the middle. And this is a half a pound of salmon. The biggest thing to note is how thick. So see, this is only about an inch thick, and I got the tail because that's what they had left at the store. But that's gonna determine a little bit of the play with your cooking time on this. So even though the pesto has seasoning, I'm just gonna lightly give it a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper on here. I think it's good to season in layers. Next going down is my pesto. So you could just do store-bought here, and it's just a couple, I'd say that was probably a tablespoon and a half. But I'm just gonna smear this over the salmon. Again, you can see how easy this is. If you're not a salmon person, you can do this with chicken. You just would want to adjust your time according to cooking with chicken. So next up, little bundle of some fresh green beans. These are the skinnier green beans. They're called HARICOT vert. It's just French. I don't know why they're called HARICOT vert, but that's what they are. So a bundle of those are gonna go down right on here. And then I already sliced just some little cherry tomatoes in half. And those are gonna go down as well. And so you see, I've kind of got like a dinner bundle. Now I probably will not eat all of this myself. Scott's out of town. So this is a great method of cooking if you're cooking by yourself. Now, if you were folding this in papillote, which is in the paper, you would then, I'd have to teach you a whole different fancy way of folding it. But because I'm just doing it to protect with the tomatoes, I'm just gonna fold this up like so. And it doesn't need to be perfect because this is just like a barrier from the foil. Now, my foil, I'm gonna turn it sideways. Sorry, it's probably really noisy. Is the next step. So the deal with this is just you really want to make sure you seal it. So I'm just gonna kind of roll it down. And you don't have to do that parchment layer. The biggest key is that you wanna make sure you've sealed your food and you don't wanna squish it up too much. You want it to have some room. But what's fun is if you had a dinner party, let's say, you could make up individual bundles like this, and then it makes a really fun presentation if you do it in the parchment paper. So this will now go into my 400-degree oven that's been preheated for about 15 minutes, and I will show you the end result. This dinner is real simple. Okay, my little foil wrapped baby is out of the oven and it's nice and puffy. So what's so cool when you cook this way is it steams it. I got fancy new UV gloves, aren't they cute, from Circulate on clearance, you guys. So this is really hot. So I would recommend using a pot holder or something on one side, because what'll happen is once the steam puffs out, it could burn you real easy. So I'm using just a little bit of a sharp knife here. The other thing is some people, depending on what you're making, you could pop this back into the oven, put my other glove on, and broil the top of it. So you can open it up and like make this little opening right here. And then, oh, look how pretty that is. Oh my gosh, it smells amazing, you guys. Just amazing. Oh, I'm not gonna broil mine because I think that it is gonna be beautiful as is, but you could do that if you wanted to get kind of a little bit of a just sizzle on top. So I'm gonna get this plated up and then we're gonna talk about it, and I'll be doing a little test taste. See you in a sec. Okay guys, here it is. I'm really missing my camera guy right now. So Scott Kerpane, thank you for always, well, not this week, but usually being here to film me. It is much easier. Okay, you guys, this smells amazing. I mean, real amazing. So there's that. Few things I want to point out. So with things like this, it's always hard to know exactly how long things are going to cook. So I'll be honest, my green beans, they were a little on the crunchy side. So you know what? I just moved them. I scooped them up, put them right on the baking sheet that I've been using, and just drizzled them with just a little bit more olive oil because I felt like they needed a little bit more kind of zhuzh, a little fat to kind of amp them up. And threw them back in the oven for just 5 more minutes. And then my salmon just kind of sat there tented. And then I popped that back onto my baking sheet for just like another minute just to make sure it was nice and hot and sizzly. So that was it. Sometimes you gotta like roll with it and just kind of pinch hit. So I'm not gonna be able to cut those green beans, but I might just force one into my mouth. So this salmon, you guys, oh my gosh. The thing that's so cool about cooking in papillote or in like a foil little pocket is everything steams and it keeps your food really moist. It helps it from not drying out. So I'm so sad that no one's here to eat this with me. I'm gonna have a real good meal. Oh yeah. Underneath, I have a little bed of, oh my gosh, it's so good. I have a little bed of just some leftover cauliflower rice, and I had a little bit of brown rice left over, mixed them together to give myself a little bit of a base. And then these little tomatoes, they're just bursting. And then my beans. Still crispy, but great flavor. I love a bean that's not super cooked, you know, so it's mushy and limp. So you guys, the possibilities are endless with this meal. You can do chicken, you can do other kinds of fish, you can go Italian, you can go Mexican, you can go Thai. There's so many options. I'm just kind of giving you one example of what you can do when you cook kind of in those little foil boats. And here's my favorite part. See this big mess? Here's cleanup. It's going in the garbage. Done. And then my dinner plate, rinse, pop in the dishwasher, and then I can just kick back and enjoy my evening. So give this one a try. Delight of the bite. Subscribe, share, and tell your friends. If you have not already done so, hit the little like button on YouTube. I appreciate that. Comments, all those kinds of interactions really, really help me out. And so the more that you're able to do that, the more it helps me. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you give this one a try. Let me know what you try. There are so many options. Thanks so much.